well,
Perfect.
Cool. All
Strike a
right.
pose. Okay.
wow.
So it is the 21st of March 2024. We are already end of March. It's time flies. And this
Yeah.
is the Bolt.Fun UX research call. So I have John's here. He leads Bolt.Fun, and we have Lana as well. And Lana took the initiative to use the UX research toolkit, which is what we want to see so much more of in the ecosystem. And we're going to just go through how she used the UX research toolkit, maybe anything she struggled with. And just to give a little bit of introduction, the UX Research Toolkit was built by the Bitcoin design community a few years ago with the goal of, getting builders, specifically Bitcoin wallet and project builders, to incorporate research more into their product build process. And yeah, it's a website. I'll share the link as well, maybe in the video recording or later on when we post the video live. But yeah, that's it. I'll hand it over to Lana to explain, yeah, how you use the kit, why you decided to use the kit, and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a product designer working at Peak Shift for a year now, and we came up on a journey to design onboarding flow for Bolt.Fun since we never had one. For multiple reasons, to just include more people in the community, the ones who are maybe not as tech savvy or understand all the technologies we use, like Bitcoin, Lightning, wallets, Nostr. There's so many things, and that's one of the reasons. And as well, to tie the community more together for the ones who do understand these things, it would be nice to have it more outlined and for them to have a head start, like almost understand what's happening in this Bolt.Fun space community. So that's where I hopped on to the moderate usability testing kit, which was so much help to me because this is first time testing and it's a very complex kind of uh, project I'm doing here, which is onboarding flow. And how did I use it? Did I get any have any struggles? Not at all, but your update, which is the most recent one, I can say solved the minor problem I had, which was just navigating, like finding it. And I like read your Discord message, which was like, "This is the person X we had in mind. We designed it for them, but the person X, which is being me, this is like my third or second time like hopping on the website. So I was a bit confused. But now having this update, which is amazing, I was just like that quickly found it whatever I needed. It was good before as well, like the content was amazing, and I can straight up get into what how I used it. So, of course, the intro part was why
You want to
do
share your screen?
of course I can share my
Yeah.
screen. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Let me just do that right now. Screen sharing. I will share my entire screen. Okay, you guys see this, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. So I just hopped in right in it, but basically, this was from your update. This is the old version, okay? Anyway, I will just jump right in. This was all very, very helpful to me to understand what is it about, how to do it, how to prepare for testing, and how to even reward participants, which I did a few times, and how to treat some data which could be private or sensitive. And the tools here are also amazing. I used um, I used Google. I used what's the name of this? Anyway, what's the name we have called them? Yeah, okay. And I also used Notion to like collect all the data.
Amazing.
Followed everything step by step actually, and wrote it on Bolt.Fun from the get-go. I defined the goals and I defined the problems and assumptions we have. Um, yes, also the script here and examples. I used it almost word by word, which was so amazing for me because sometimes writing can be a bit difficult. Of course, the pilot test is which I also did with the team to figure out if I prepared everything nicely, was the step I followed. Everything by the book, basically. And right now, what phase am I in is the step 7, which is to interpret and recommend, like, what of the feedback I got is going to be included or useful, or is going to give us some new additions or new components. So I guess I'm in the post sprint type of phase, but I use everything from this kit like word by word and followed it. And it was very helpful.
That's
It
super nice. Is there anything you want to add in, Johns? Were you involved in this, or how were you involved? I heard that you've been mentoring her, so was there any involvement there?
Yeah, so I kept it quite minimal.
Yeah,
Want to see what would come out of like the UX toolkit and stuff. I know you put a lot of work into it and stuff,
yeah,
so I was pretty sure that it would be kind of like the guiding step. Also makes my stuff a bit easier because then I don't have to go like word for explain everything. So like the kit by itself did that. Um,
yeah.
I think the only real involvement that I had was during the first test.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like how to conduct that. Like, don't interrupt too much. Let the person just like go ahead and do their thing. Tell them you're there. You'll talk about things after the fact for them to speak out loud. Like you're observing more. So that was, I think, the main thing. Yeah, like my main involvement in that process. And yeah, amazing work, Lana. This is amazing. I've actually even looked at any of the data and stuff myself, so I'm gonna be seeing
Oh,
what.
nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be seeing everything with fresh eyes right now as well.
Oh, this is even nicer. Okay.
Yeah, and I have something to add to that, Johns. You did taught me that as well, but later on, when I read everything in the kit and even this template of how to conduct, like with the opening questions and like navigation of the conversation, I found like these two methods, and I used the less structured one, which is like more organic to me personally, where I allowed the user to perform the process on their own, right? And then I followed up with if I needed to interfere, because with explanation, which I don't know if it was a deal, because what we learned from this is that still some our assumptions are not clear to other people. But yes, I used even the methods here of how to talk to people and how to let them speak their mind and explain, I guess, what they feel and think.
And using the toolkit, I'm just, I'd like to put myself in your shoes as someone who's never done usability testing before.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find to be the most challenging in actually conducting that process? Just on even if it's on a personal level, on a professional level, what did you sort of maybe struggle with the most, or you needed to get your
Uh-huh.
brain around?
Well, to be honest, the most challenging part for me was to, okay, I have all this information, which is super clear to me. It was to prepare, first of all, to prepare the prototype. And other struggle that I had, not really struggle, but challenge for me personally, was to find the testers, because they require for me to get out there, talk to people from community, even if I'm not the most comfortable with that and never did it. It actually put me out there, and it's a very valuable experience. So the challenges really turned into a learning process, and now I feel more comfortable, like even doing this. So yeah, that was the biggest
Amazing. So
challenge.
it
Yeah.
sounds like it made you also just come out of your shell and
Yeah.
go and interact with people. Where was useful for you? I know this is a challenge for a lot of builders. Where was it useful for you in finding people to test? I know a lot of product teams really struggle with this.
Yes,
If you're comfortable with sharing,
of course.
yeah.
So, because I had like 6 to 7 testers, and the goal was like 4 to 6. So that's a good number, I guess. And the majority of them are actually from our community and from Bitcoin design community was one person. So I just looked on our feed who was active, who would be maybe interested, and messaged them directly. And other people, like people from my surroundings, who I know that have no clue what's happening, because that was also the test group I wanted to have a mix of people who understand some stuff and the new ones who have no clue what Bolt.Fun is or any of these technologies. So that was that basically. That's how I found people.
You mentioned that one of the difficult things were to onboard, like to get people to actually do the testing. Um,
Uh-huh.
I did hear like some people were saying yes and then no.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have like they're busy and stuff.
Yeah.
Could you describe the process of like onboarding them? Like, how did you approach them?
Mhm.
Like what did that look like? Where did you post it? Where was it advertised?
Oh yeah, I kind of
What
missed
are
that
the
part.
incentives? And then maybe
Yeah.
you can also talk about like what you would do to improve it going
Mm-hmm.
forward.
So first, I create a project on Bolt.Fun, which is onboarding for the Bolt.Fun, and there I wrote just about my progress and where I'm at. We have a prototype, we have everything, right? So, uh, what was the next step, which was to post to the community itself. And now, when not a lot of people reached out back, I realized I had to go more privately or directly to people. Jones, what was the other question you asked me?
Yeah,
So
like so you went directly and then like
yeah,
what was that interaction like? How did you
interaction was
onboard them?
basically before that, of course, like the user research kits taught me is to create a call.com. So I prepared the schedule and everything so people could, of course, I would give them the background and the links with the stories I created with some, I guess, background story, because people need to understand what are they applying to. And of course I give them the schedule with the call and my open hours so they could book whenever they were free. Sometimes it was not ideal because we were in different time zones, or I'm working part-time some days full-time, so that was a bit of a struggle, but overall it was pretty successful, to be honest. And yeah, I followed up like every 2 weeks on Bolt.Fun and wrote about it, reposted to the Bitcoin design community. You guys gave me feedback, and that's how things kind of moved while I was doing this. Maybe this could be a good start for me to show where we are at currently with Bolt.Fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, so I will share my screen again. Entire screen, okay. For maybe people who don't quite understand, this is the page you land on without signing in, and it explains what Bolt.Fun is, what we do, and everything. And we don't have onboarding, so people would just sign in, and that would create their profile automatically. It's not like sign in, sign up type of thing. And I'm going to sign in with my Lightning right now,
Hmm.
and even show you guys.
Yeah, it's probably not going to work there. But pretty much what happens is like after you press the sign in button, you're like you're on the feed. Uh,
Yes,
the feed's not going to load there, but it's basically
yes.
like you're in. You get no other information, put in your email, and boom, you're inside of this thing.
Yes, but there are three options here. That's where we're currently at. So to sign in with Lightning, whether it is an extension or your Lightning wallet, and to sign in with email and with Noster.
Right.
So as it is right now, this is not really giving you much information or explaining what of these things are. So that's where we're at currently. And since I can't really show you guys the my stories and everything, or the feed, maybe I can show you the prototype.
Yeah.
That could be a starting point. So this is the whole page I had, from wireframes, having ideas, sketching user journey, to actually creating the prototypes itself.
How nice. How did you decide on the structure? Just, I know this is moving more into the design side of things, but your
Mhm.
work is very organized.
Oh, thank you so much. I like tried so hard to be organized. because a lot of people will view this page since it's public, right? And
Yes.
want it to be easy to consume and understand from a designer point of view or from somebody who's going to test this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very important thing for me.
Could you
And this
share the link to this Figma file as well, please?
yes, I will. So, copy link. Can I do it in a call somewhere?
Yeah, you've got the chat is here.
Uh-huh. I see, I see. Okay, so this is just the Figma page. I will give you the link to the prototype as well.
Or
Okay.
feel free to show us the prototype.
Yes, I can, of course. So I will go quickly through the flow. So this is where we at, right? I showed you guys the Bolt.Fun page when you first get in. Now, when we click on sign in, this is now more in wireframing phase. There's no design because it still was in testing phase. This is the first thing we land on, and we wanted to explain what Bolt.Fun is and what's our manifesto and what is this community, what is it about, and what happens there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should go in right now with the feedback I received, or we can dive into that later.
What do you feel the most comfortable with? I mean, in terms of.
I would like to present this just quickly, and
Okay.
then we can go into details. So when we join, this is the three options we have so far, but they are phrased differently. So let's say we sign in with the email. Let's say somebody would input their email, they would get the code, copy and paste this. It's in like one-time code,
Mm-hmm.
sign in. And now this is the onboarding process that's completely new. We wanted people to get introduced to the roles and skills which we have on the platform for their profiles to be more filled in and for them to connect with community easier, because if you know who you are and what you need in types of like terms of skills, it's easier to connect. For example, if somebody needs a team member, and if you're a UX/UI designer, it will be way easier for you to find somebody, right, if you show it on your profile. So this is also to fill your profile page, and there's some basic information. Some of these could be probably skippable in the future. In the flow,
Okay.
it's currently not. And this is the important one, because this is a point where we introduced the fun social. Because we are Nostr native, and our commenting system, our badges, our notifications are all on Nostr. So there are two options for us, to create the Nostr passkeys for them and generate them, which is the easier option, because people who are not familiar with this technology, they can just dive in straight up, or for them to use their own keys if they have Noster or would prefer to, continue with their own keys in their own profile. So let's say I just picked Bolt.Fun to generate keys for me, which are custodial. We have a stay up to date section, which is about notifications and newsletter
Mm-hmm.
and updates. And people can opt in which ones to receive through notifications of Bolt.Fun and also through email, since we signed up with email.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it. Now, this part is very experimental for me and kind of interesting, because a lot of people in the testing were like, what is this page? And we kind of had an idea to get them straight up to the creating a first post to introduce themselves. Now, some people were comfortable with it, the majority, but were not. But like some people were kind of fine with this, and we were like, yeah, I could do this for sure if this is like a common practice. But they could also go back and jump to our feed. That's the basically flow. And I don't know, I can go through the other options quickly, like scan QR code. And here we made this a bit more structured as to you can learn what the wallet is, you see all the options you could use. For example, this explains to you what a Bitcoin wallet is, and people scan it and again go through the same ordeal. this is a bit mixed up. But anyway, I will go to the part where things change.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be this part, kind of, since they used their wallet, okay, they used extension, and the extension which we use is Albi, and it could be also used for Nostr, right? So that's a bit changing point here. And also this, since they never signed up through email, we have to give them some form of opt-in to give us that information, right?
I don't see that on the screen. Like,
Yes.
is this supposed to be like?
Yeah, that's because I just went like a presentation. I should have
Uh,
done the flow properly.
okay,
That's on me.
that's a good one.
So let's go quickly through this and like continue, do this, continue, choose this, for example. Okay, it tells me now to use my own master keys, which would be through extension, which is Alvi.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going quite fast here, and if somebody doesn't know the context, it can be quite confusing. I'm aware of it. Okay, let's do this. Yes, so I skipped another part.
Oh,
So
it's fine. It's fine. Don't no, don't worry.
yeah, it
Ah,
has an input, of course.
Mm.
This changes with the way you sign in, of course.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, and that's the same for every sign-in option.
Mm.
Um, that's it. And if I should maybe show another one, like via Nostr or extension,
No, I think I
it's
get
fine.
the gist of it. Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's it basically. And this is the flow which my testers went through. Now, I can post this link to the prototype, share prototype, copy link in our call. If you need or somebody to reach back to it, it's here. Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, should I dive into the enormous data of 10 pages I have from the
Go for
testing?
it. If you're comfortable with sharing your screen or not, if you need to protect the privacy of the people who shared it,
Oh,
as you
it's actually
wish.
fine because I didn't ask for any personal
Okay.
information. They just gave me an overview of who they are because it was important for us to get the background. But people are pretty much fine with it. I will also share this and put it in the chat. So maybe it would be easier for everybody to look through it.
Nice. And one question, how were you taking these notes? Because it seems like you have some very good notes here. Were you taking notes on paper or how did you do that? Did you just want to explain?
Well, I tried to record everything, but Google Meet really didn't allow me this, and I would have to go through this whole ordeal of enabling that feature. So I firstly started with recording on my phone, of course, with consent. I asked everybody if they were fine with just the audio being recorded, and they were. But then I was also taking notes simultaneously while they were talking, and I followed their like activity and everything. So it ended up being just me typing everything they were saying and like trying to find the value. But everything was pretty much in that Google document.
Perfect.
Now, should I like turn off my screen sharing or I should share it and everybody can like go on the link themselves?
Yeah, I think the link is fine enough.
The link is fine. Okay, I can. Um,
Can't be too safe with.
Yeah, exactly.
oh
Exactly.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Then there's a lot prepared for that, but yeah, it's a
By the way, just a little point here. I find this very interesting.
yeah.
There's some research about anonymized data information, and they realized that you could just have 5 data points of on someone in the U.S. Research was in the U.S. 5 data points of someone, not including name, right? And you're able to figure out where they are,
Oh
which
yeah.
is you figure
Right.
out the address, and you can figure out like profiles and stuff like that. Just
Oh
five.
my god. Yeah, it's like this thing of like 6 points to like know everybody.
Exactly.
Right.
Right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
but
very
feel free to continue, Nana.
sorry.
Feel free to continue.
Okay. So are we all on this user testing research document?
Yeah.
So my first tester, can I guess I can say names, which is Boyana. She's basically an artist, photographer, a founder. She has her own clothing store, and she's pretty entrepreneurial and is interested to this vision of learning more technical stuff or being in this community who are creating maybe something. Like, for example, she would be interested maybe in her website or something. So her experience was very like not that much with Bolt.Fun. She knows the basics of it. She understands what it is, and she didn't have any big obstacles in the process. This is
Mm-hmm.
just overall comment. And she vocally explained her thoughts and feelings to me while navigating the prototype. And she clearly understood calls to actions and was very thorough in like reading everything on the prototype. So she opted in for firstly to sign in via code with email, which was typically something that a lot of people did, which we
Mm-hmm.
learned through this testing. So that's a very important feature for us. And she didn't have any struggles with it. And the comments she had on roles and skills section, which is the next one following the sign in, she found that the roles we provided were very very niche, I guess, like UX UI designer, this type of developer. She asked me like, why don't we have just a designer or just I don't know, something more general. So
Mm-hmm.
then I realized, and that was also a common theme where other people told me the same thing.
Okay.
Yes, so more general options in the roles and skills would be a better to include. That's what I learned from her.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, she found hard time to fit in the box per se. And for the profile, she gladly like filled it up, didn't say nothing critical and or had any comments. Now for the fun social, Boyana did understand the two options to use her master keys, which is the generated both fun ones or her own master keys. Now Boyana is not a master, so she opted out for both fun generated ones. I didn't really have any second thoughts regarding like since it's custodial, like, oh, is this okay? Um, she was like pretty trustworthy and didn't think about it. Um, so yeah, she would use generated keys. Um, she also commented that the newer people would maybe be more inclined to use that option, the custodial both fun generated keys.
Mm-hmm.
We could maybe highlight that somehow and downplay a bit the version where they use their own master. But again, we're catering for people who are and who aren't tech savvy. So we need to have this balance, right? And for notifications, Boyana was um, like, let me see what, yeah, she asked me like, why would we have a newsletter? And why would she receive these notifications and would she have them on her platform? And the answer is yes. And a lot of people, what I found in my research, don't really care that much about notifications or newsletters, and they would just like go over it, like click whatever and like, sure, okay, are not so open to
Yeah.
getting all these types of info. So yes, better way. Buena generally feels that less technical terminology and more beginner-friendly terms would be better way to introduce new people to our platform. So she felt like a lot of terms were quite confusing or a bit intimidating, like both an ID, Noster, wallet, extension. So that's the general feel she got.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Um, do I just continue, or you have any questions for me from this first testing session?
Yeah, I would suggest, I'm looking at the Google document myself. I would suggest maybe just to protect the privacy of the people, maybe just call them
Oh,
Tester one, tester two, tester
oh
three.
yeah, that's true. Yes.
Um, just to just keep their privacy
Uh-huh.
good as well.
Okay, yes. So tester two um, is somebody who is very much knowledgeable about Bolt.Fun and the platform, Noster, even uses Noster, and understands these cutting edge technologies we use. Overall, this person didn't have any obstacles onboarding, and it was important to consider the fact that she was very familiar with the platform, or she or him. um, so again, she is on Bolt.Fun, and the main comments she had on the first, like when you click sign in, the page with manifesto was that the word tournaments were a bit confusing, maybe, and misleading because it's actually hackathons, but we have a large variety of events we have and call them tournaments. She completely understood the sign-in with Noster and Lightning and everything. She said that it would be beneficial for people who are not maybe as tech savvy to have what is Noster section, and that would provide basic information before they get into these nitty-gritty details, right? Before choosing their Noster keys to continue on Bolt.Fun. Regarding roles and skills, she also thought that we could have a bigger variety of terms and more general ones. Um, she suggested that we could include also judges because we have hackathons and judges are a pretty important part of it. So they also go on our platform. Um, she also suggested like the general tone of the text could be more conversational. She felt like that could maybe bring some value because it was like, what is your name and what is your role or skill? And uh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quite change the UI on purpose on any of these comments or suggestions, even though they were good, because I wanted to get everybody's feedback on this one point we are in, right?
Yeah.
So work from there. For the notifications, she suggested to move some of them more in front, like tournaments and platform notifications. And because she personally felt maybe that it was more important than the newsletter or vice versa. Just some minor things like that. She understood everything, basically. Uh, and yeah, she suggested having something like follow us on Twitter or on Noster in there, but I feel like that's maybe a bit too much for that page.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, can I move on to the next
Yeah.
person?
Continue.
Okay, the third person is somebody who is a maker on the platform and again, also UX UI designer. Is this like revealing too much or because it's a technical person and knowledgeable person on
Mm-hmm.
Lightning and Noster? They had no specific comments on the landing page. And for sign-in page, for the part when we click sign in and we get to this manifesto thing with a lot of text, they said that it was kind of unnecessary for them because if people wanted to sign in and they clicked it, why are we asking them to do it again, right? But our perspective is we want them to see more information, understand more before signing in. So yes, that was the main point they gave me there, and they said like different word choices would be beneficial. Um, yeah, and they really didn't understand what signing with code and extension would mean because it all regards Lightning, right? So until they clicked and went through the flow, they didn't really understand the differentiation, I guess, on that call to actions right there. For roles and skills, they also felt that the titles could be more conversational and the job titles could be also more broader.
Mm-hmm.
For the profile section, they felt like there was too much focus on filling out the profile, and they felt like it was not such an important step. for example, the short description. They also stated that it would be uh, cool if we could merge the skills and roles with that fill out your profile to get that in like one step,
Mm,
because
that's
it's
a good
kind of a
suggestion.
lengthy flow. Yes, very
Yeah.
useful. Um, and maybe add like some progress bar or something like that, so people know where they at when they're at. Um, or maybe when they're finished with onboarding, to give them some kind of reward when they're on Bolt.Fun, like a badge or something, which is also a cool idea. For the fun social, which is Bolt.Fun Noster, he stated that choosing your Bolt.Fun ID should be the first of the flow after the signing in. So he felt that this step was so crucial that he would move it up in the beginning of the flow, before your details, your name, your skills, and everything. And for the notifications, he also felt like that step could be no, he felt like it could be completely out of the flow, and we could somehow navigate users after they're there to do that step, and like enable and choose your notifications through some prompts, or maybe something like that. So yes, that's what I got from this testing session. And now another one. Can I move on to the next one?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I don't know if it's useful to go through all of them or if maybe
Uh-huh.
James can just read through it in his own time. And
Yes.
um, I don't know if it would be helpful to maybe, would you think are the next steps now in terms of this data that you have in front of you?
Yes.
Because I want to understand if the toolkit really explains very well what
Yeah.
the steps are and if maybe something needs to be changed there. So, what would you think are the next steps with processing the data?
Well, I understood the next step, which Toolkit does say, is to we have all this data, right? And I should now collect it and put it in like FigJam or something, right? And as a team, we decide what should be included in, correct? And now I just had a hard time, like with all this information, how do I separate it, put it in categories, which to include, which not to include. And later down in the document, there are people who are completely out of the picture from Bolt.Fun, and they give me their set of perspective on the testing. But you can look at it anytime anyway. So I was kind of more like this. Okay, this is the part where I need some guidance.
Okay, I'll provide some very quick, easy guidance. Keep it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find an example here in my Figma. Let's see. Let's just see here. Affinity. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is an affinity map which we did for Blixt Wallet,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay. I'll share my screen in a bit, but I'll just share very quickly. So,
Okay.
what you can do with that Google document is you basically have some comments made
Mm-hmm.
by people, or rather suggestions. I
Mm-hmm.
would very quickly take a highlighter. So, just focus on, like, think in your mind, what is this person trying to communicate? What improvement suggestion is coming through from doing this interaction, this user testing with them? And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that it's just like one sentence or like 4 words from every single interview. So take the highlighter in the Google document and highlight it like in green. And then you'll have all these green highlights on
Mm-hmm.
the Google document.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to copy and paste those little highlighted bits into
Mm-hmm.
FigJam.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically you will have one big page of sticky notes. Okay. But this is now sorted. So, this is you can just ignore this for now, but this is sorted. And then what
Mm-hmm.
you'll start to notice is you'll start to notice like some groupings in what
Mm-hmm.
people are saying. So like the comment that people spoke about, the user profiles being more simple, maybe two people made those comments. So you'll
Yeah.
take those two sticky notes and you'll put those two sticky notes together. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll start to sort of put them into buckets. You can imagine you have all these balls lying on the floor, and you pick up
Yeah.
the green balls, you put the green balls together, and you put the blue balls and the yellow balls together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll start to notice patterns in terms of, okay, there's more green balls. Everyone's talking about this one thing here. Let's improve that, and then you can make very practical changes in the UI designs
Mm,
based on that. Does that make sense? What I've just said?
yes, 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 it
Yeah.
does.
So this is one we did in the community. This was Blixt. This was a very, we collected all of the feedback from
Mm-hmm.
the Telegram channel, and we sort of bucketed it. And you can see very clearly like where the issues lie and where most of the issues lie were lying in the user flow. But this is a lot more extensive. I think for your one, maybe you'll just have like maybe 11 different sections, and then you
Yeah.
also have some notes that like don't fit in to any buckets. So you just keep them on the side. That's okay if they don't fit into any of the buckets.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the next step in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh wow. I'm already there.
Oh, I mean, it's exactly what you have behind you. It's the sticky notes.
Yeah. Great. So the
Sticky
solution.
notes are fun.
Yeah, they are sometimes.
Sticky notes are fun.
We got them all around the hub there. It's just like
There
every
we
time
go.
every time I do a workshop, it's just I just leave them up, and
Sticky notes are there.
it becomes part of the design. It's part of the design now of the
You
space.
know, John's taught. I came into the design community, I think, 3 years ago, and
Uh-huh.
John's was the one who taught me design sprints. So I
Really?
always associate the design sprints with John's because crazy eights, all the rest. I still have the template. I
Uh-huh.
still like go back to it, like, okay, this is the process.
Yeah.
Do you know what I found out recently?
Tell
About
me.
1,000 people copied that template.
Yeah, use that actually.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I uploaded it like some time ago. I never touched it again, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like how?
Exactly.
I
John's, yeah, exactly. It's a good sprint. It's a good sprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good sprint format. Are there any questions that you have, Lana, or anything else that we can do to help you with going through the data or anything that comes to mind?
Well, not really. You explained to me like very clearly what's my next step, which I kind of knew, but you showing me this and having this conversation, this experience basically helped me to kind of move forward and got me a bit out of my comfort zone, but no questions. Do you have questions for me regarding anything?
I mean, I'd love to, put this as a sort of like a case study in the Bitcoin UX research toolkit
Uh-huh.
because it's so important in the work that we do to show proof of work. So I'd
Yes.
love it if we could just somehow share this. I'll add this video in as well.
Yes.
That would be really great. In some way, just kind of document the process, or
Yeah.
but we can just chat about that online. But yeah.
Sure, of course. I'm all up for it because Bolt.Fun is also all about proof of work.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Yeah, and if we put together a case study, it's always something that you can use on repeat.
yes,
When you're in your career as you're applying for things, this is what I did here and that kind of thing. So
yeah,
I know
that's a
it will help you as well. So yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we can wrap it up. I don't know, Johns, if you have anything to add or
John's disappeared. He's in the room next to me, but
I'm here. I'm here. Well, thank you so much, Mo, for creating such an amazing resource.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that kit is amazing. Again, you basically fine-tuned it to perfection.
I'm not going to take full credit for the kit because I didn't build
No,
it. We as a community
I
built
know,
the kit.
yeah, but
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we
was
built the kit. It
researcher,
wasn't me.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
some very good minds who built that kit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
of
of
course.
So
course.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
to the internet minds out there who built the kid, including Mo.
Yeah.
uh, amazing work putting it together, or at least initiating it and stuff like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I
New
mean, we
generation
can.
of designers coming in.
Sorry, what did you say?
The new generation of designers, researchers and stuff. You know.
Let's get more of them. Let's get more of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can wrap it up. I can stop the
Sure.
recording.
Okay.
Stop the recording. There we go.